It's time to kick up your life with Master Mel.
You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer. As she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Master Mel uses her experience in martial arts, nutrition, fitness, and psychology to help you kick it up to the next level of mastery in your life. And now, here's your host, Master Mel.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a fantastic guest to help you kick up your life. And specifically today, we're going to help you kick up your business. Now, thank you to those who are with us live here on Crowdcast and those listening on the radio or through my website, mastermel.com. I can't wait for you to meet this special guest. Rick Frishman is a publisher at Morgan James Publishing in New York. He's the founder of Planned Television Arts and has been one of the leading book publicists in America for over 39 years. Rick works with many of the top book editors, literary agents, and publishers in America, including Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins, and Random House. He's worked with best-selling authors such as Stephen King, Caroline Kennedy, Howard Stern, Rushdie, John Grisham, Jack Canfield, just to name a few. Rick is the co-author of 18 books, including some national bestsellers. His 18th book, Mistakes Authors Make, Essential Steps for Achieving Success as an Author, was published this last year, and he's got Guerrilla Publicity coming out, which will be published late this year. Let's just say he knows a thing or two about publishing and public relations, as he's a sought-after lecturer and speaker. He's been featured in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Associated Press, and scores of other publications. And he's also appeared on hundreds of radio shows and more than a dozen TV shows nationwide, including Oprah, Fox News, and Bloomberg TV. And now he's here on Kick Up Your Life Radio with Master.
Hello, Master Mel.
Welcome,
How
Rick
you doing?
Frishman.
I love that
so
voice, the narrator. You know, we got to get Master Mel. Like WLCB Radio. That's it. Great.
So much authority,
Oh,
right?
fabulous. I love it.
Well, I am excited to talk to you about being a best-selling author and how someone goes about doing that. I have a lot of people who watch this show who are entrepreneurs that are learning about what a great idea it is to write a book. And I have sat in the audience and listened to you speak several times, and you inspired me. And so I wanted to, and I actually got off my tush and got started on a book. So I wanted to have you on the show so you could also inspire our listeners.
Great. Well, thank you.
But
the first part about becoming a best-selling author is first becoming an author. And there's studies out that show that like 80% of everybody in America wants to become an author and don't get off their tush, as you so aptly said, which is beautiful. So my job here today is to get you to get off your butt and get it done. And I hope you're on a computer or have a pad of paper. We're going to give out a lot of websites, take a lot of notes, and our job is to help you build your business, and having a book will help you do that. Let me just start with, I'm the worst writer in America. I suck as a writer. And I have 18 books out, and my 19th book is coming this year. I've sold hundreds of thousands of books, and I can't even write. So if I can do it, you can. I'm going to teach you exactly how I write my books. And I've been doing publishing. Let's see, December 1, I will start my 41st year. So this is my 40th year in publishing. And it has changed dramatically. And that's good for all of us, because publishing is an ass backwards business. It's stupid. And the nice thing is we don't have to work with Simon & Schuster and HarperCollins and deal with their rules anymore. We can make our own rules and start getting this stuff done. So that's the name of the game.
Thank you. I first saw you the first time I saw you, you were on stage with Brendan Burchard, and Brendan was crediting you with really his entire career, and or that you were at the beginning of all of that. And you were talking about Author 101, and I really want to make sure that people get information about Author 101, because you've been doing that for a long time, and I know I went and was totally inspired. Can you tell us how long you've been doing Author 101 University and a little bit about that?
And you'll be back, and all of your viewers and listeners can meet you face to face. So
I know. I'm excited about going again this year,
which will be great. And there's a backstory with that with Brendan. I've been doing Author 101 since 2002. He came to one of our events a long time ago. He was flat broke. He was actually worse than broke. He was bankrupt. He was upside down. And he borrowed money from his parents to get there. And I met him the first day and fell in love with this kid. I call him the kid. I still call him the kid today. And he had just a book proposal. We'll talk about you and your book proposal, everybody listening today. And he gave me the book proposal. I liked it a lot, but I liked just looking in his eyes, and I liked his energy. And I connected him with a friend of mine. I invite all of our literary agents and publishers to come to our event. And I actually introduced Brendan to a friend of mine, Scott Hoffman, who's at that point was just starting out as a literary agent. And Scott also took him under his wing, and we worked with Brendan, on his book proposal. It took a year, and Scott actually sold his book, Life's Golden Ticket, to Harper San Francisco. And the book came out, and I actually had the honor of doing publicity on the book, which was great. And that kind of got Brendan going. So he didn't have a book, he didn't have a business, he was bankrupt, and he just came to the event. So just showing up and getting off your butt can change your life. The book did relatively well. Fast forward a couple of years, and he had a deal with PBS. The show is going to be coming out in March. And he went to HarperCollins and said, I need to get a book out in March. And they said, well, we'll get a book out in 2 years if you'd like. But what are you talking about? So he actually wrote a book in 13 days in January. He gave me the book on February 5th. We published the book on March 5th, and it was #1 on the New York Times on March 21st. And so the most amazing thing is that you don't have to wait. You can get this stuff done. And that was The Millionaire Messenger. I'm actually happy to be in the book. We sold about 50,000 books in about 3 months. But more importantly is Brendan made a ton of money on the back end, which is what we teach you to do at Author 101 University. The book is your tool, but you have to have a back end to make more money, just like what you're doing. So Author 101 University, this next one is coming up October 20, 21, 22, right at the LA airport at the Hyatt Hotel. Rooms are only $145. And right now I have a special, amazing deal for all you watching today and listening. Is for a short time only, it is only $197. It's nuts. Wow. And you get to bring a guest for free. So it really is $98. So here's the point. I'm going to put down the gauntlet. If you can't spend $98 to get to Author 101 University, October 20, 21, 22, it will change your life. You'll meet Mel, you'll meet me, you'll meet a ton of famous, really cool people to talk about. Then I want you to write your mother today and tell her that you are not going to be an author and you're not going to build your business and you're just going to do nothing. So actually, I told that interesting story to another author who came to me, a guy named Jack Canfield. You all know Jack.
Hello, yeah.
Sent a young man to me with a book proposal, which I have several books on how to write a book proposal. And he said, Rick's the expert on this. He's been helping me since 1993. Send him your book proposal. This guy sent me his book proposal. I called him right back and I said, love you, love what you do. This book proposal really sucks, let me tell you. So, I don't mince word. You'll see that, So I said, here's what I want you to do. Invest $9, get my book, Author 101, and rewrite it and get me a new book proposal within 1 week. And I said to him, very lovingly, if you don't call me back in a week and redo your book proposal, call your mother and tell her you don't want to be an author. So this guy was good. He got back to me. He had a horrible, shitty title. You can say that on radio. All right, terrible title. Yeah. And he redid it and sent it back to me. We got him a great new agent, guy named Steve Hanselman, who was actually Jack Canfield's publisher at HarperCollins, who just left and became a literary agent, and renamed the book. And by the way, write this down. Here's your first tip of the day. Your title should be 1 to 5 words. 1 to 5 words. Where's your wow? Guerrilla publicity. Blink, etc. So his new title was called The 4-Hour Work Week. Ever hear of that? Tim Ferriss.
I have heard of that.
Okay.
I read it too.
And that book sold millions, and now he's The 4-Hour Body. And he actually, I love this guy because he's now one of the biggest authors in America. What I hear that when he actually videos of it, does talks around America, he says it all started with a yellow book that Rick Frishman gave me on how to write a book proposal. And he still credits the fact that I kind of turned him around. And by redoing the book proposal, he got a literary agent and his life took off. So again, I just mentioned 2 very, very famous and rich people who were both very, very unfamous and not rich. And all they did was take a little bit of advice and got off their butt. So today, right now, author101.com, you can get $197. We can even get you roommates. If the $145 a night is a lot for you, Mel will put you all in her room with you. Don't worry. There's a Facebook page. This is cool, called Rick Frishman Author 101 Alumni. Just go there and ask to join. I'll let you in. We have over 3,000 authors who are helping each other, and I police the site every day, so there's no selling, and you can actually post, I'm looking for a roommate for Author 101, so you can get a roommate too. But it all starts with a book proposal, and we'll talk about how you get that done.
Cool. So let's just go over a couple of things that are going to happen at Author 101. You're going to go over book proposals, okay? But you go over so much. In fact, it's so overwhelming how much information there is. And you have some special speakers. Can you tell us a little bit of what else people can expect from Author 101?
All right. So we teach you not only how to write the book, but we teach you how to promote the book, how to do your website, how to create a back end for your business. We teach you about speaking and how to become a paid speaker, because we teach you how to build your platform. You've heard those words, over and over and over again. And maybe even how to make a ton of money. Our featured guest, this time we've never had him before, really cool guy, Kevin Harrington, who is one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. This guy is like a gazillionaire. There's no reason he needs to show up at Author 101 for a whole weekend and hang out with our folks, but he's doing it because he's looking for the next great person that he can take on, that he can make into a millionaire. And he networks, and that's why he's coming. Plus, he's going to be, teaching for a while too. Scott Hoffman, the agent I just talked about, is going to be there. But in addition, we're going to have about 20 other literary agents and publishers who are looking for your book. And the real meat of the event is there are meet and greets where you actually can pitch your book to several literary agents and publishers, and our meet and greet sessions, which are Thursday night and Friday night. Cool. And you can hang out with them at the VIP cocktail party and stuff. People walk out with deals right on the spot. And by the way, some of our agents are looking for novels. They're looking for novels that they can turn into movies. Some of our agents are looking for children's books. So it's not just nonfiction how-to. It's every type of genre. I would say the only genre that we're really kind of not, picking up is poetry. If you wrote poetry, I'll tell you where to go for that. But virtually every other kind of book, your types of books, but fiction, children books, everything. We have agents looking for you that you can meet face to face. And what do you have to bring? You got to bring a ton of business cards with your picture, by the way, because we meet so many people and we want to have a picture. So it's like I can look at the card and go, so, oh, yeah, I remember that person. Absolutely. Bring a one sheet, even just a one sheet saying who you are, what your websites are, and you should have several websites, what the title of your book is, even if it's just a working title. And if you own the URL for that title, how we can reach you. Now, in the book proposal, we'll talk about that in a moment. I'll tell you exactly what you should have in a book proposal. But even if you just bring a one sheet that you can just hand to us and a business card, that's all you need to come and meet us. And it will jumpstart your career, all for $98. I mean, hello, how good is that?
So I know there's some people that are listening that don't even have a clue where to start with what to write and what to write about, or what a title could be, or anything like that. And I just want to encourage you as well that you need to get there, because you will be inspired. It will come to you, and then you can network and use your ideas and see what sits and what doesn't. And it's a great time to just meet. And
it's all about
energy.
energy. I mean, that's exactly it. Is that, and even if you don't have a book, even if you don't have a title, even if you don't have an idea, that's okay. We will get you going, and amazing things happen just by being around all this great energy. You meet incredible people, and you realize you know things that you didn't realize you knew. So, like, I can do a book on that, and we're going to teach you about writing. We'll teach you about getting it out of your soul and out of your brain and onto a computer. And by the way, we got lots of ghostwriters who are there. Remember I said I'm the crappiest writer in America? I don't write my books. I talk my books. Just like we're doing now. It's like, here, we could do a few of these interviews. Let's say we did 10 of these. That's a whole book right there. If we just did 10 one-hour interviews, that's the whole book. And that's the way I write my books. Is I have a ghostwriter, and they just interview me. And you could even just get a program for about $99 just to put in your computer, like Dragon Speak, which is about $99 on Amazon, and just talk your book every morning for an hour. A typical book is about 175 pages long. If you talk for an hour, that's probably 10 pages right there to 15 pages. All you need to do is do that for 10 days, and you have your book. And Dragon Speak will do it for you. Just talk your book, and then we just give it to an editor. I have 20, 30 different editors that are very reasonable that will take your book and transcribe it. What's already transcribed by Dragon Speak, just clean it up, and then you're ready to rock and roll. So it's not that hard, but what you need first is just the guts. And here's, there's several books on how to write a book proposal. If you go, you can get mine, the Author 101 book, for about $10 on Amazon. But there's a ton of them out there on how to write a book proposal. Just look online, or I can set you up with it. There's actually a free software which I still think is working, called BP Whiz, which stands for Book Proposal. bpwiz.biz, B-I-Z. It's free, and you can do your book proposal for free, and it's just plug and play. But in essence, here's what I'm going to tell you in 2 minutes what should be in there. Number one, who are you? What are your websites? What's the title of your book, or other possible titles of your book? What are your, give me 15 chapter headings, and that's what we're going to record. 15 chapter headings for your book. Now, that can all change later. Don't worry about it. But start with 15 chapter headings. Write one chapter, just so we can see that you can write. Put in that book proposal. If you have a ghostwriter, like I do, tell me in the book proposal that you have a ghostwriter, or you're getting a ghostwriter, which is really good. If you've been on radio, TV, newspaper in the past, I want to know that. List it. Again, all of that will be on your website. If you're going to be hiring a PR firm when the book comes out, or let me know that you have a budget of $10, $20, $30, $50,000, a war chest to do it. If you're going to be doing publicity yourself, let me know that. But in essence, what are you going to do when the book comes out to promote the book? The publisher doesn't do it for you. Lastly, how big is your platform? You'll hear that word over and over again. And that's how many people love you. How many people listen to your radio show? Mel has a platform. So it's like how many people, see her, listen to her every week? How many people watch her speaking across the country every week? In essence, how many people are your raving fans, or as Dan Kennedy would say, are in your herd? They're waiting for your message. How many people follow you on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube? And all of those are free, by the way. We had one gal at Author 101 a couple of years ago. She had 35,000 people that watched her YouTube videos every week. That is a platform. They all want a book from her. And we're all building it all the time. The first and foremost thing that we're going to do is when we meet you is we're going to go and do a Google search and see what comes up. And the first thing that should come up is your site. So when you put in Rick Frishman, the first thing that will come up is my site, rickfrishman.com. I mean, there's 10, 15, 20 pages of me, doing things. But the first thing is rickfrishman.com. That's what has to happen with you. And I urge you to go to rickfrishman.com, rickfrishman, and see what I do. Number one, there's streaming video, there's streaming audio. You get to see me on Fox News, you get to see me on Oprah, you see, stories in the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. That's credibility, okay? There's testimonials, there's pictures, there's bios, etc. There's links to buy my books and other stuff. But it should be where you get to see me live and in person and get my energy. That has to be on your site as well. Number two, there should be an ethical bribe, a freebie. So on my site, I have a free resource list. I call it $1 million resource list, which is 137 pages long. Get that, and that will sign you up for my newsletter and show you how the system works. You need to have a freebie on your site to give away to get people in your list. So again, raving fans, that has to be on your site as well. Write this down, another tip, rickscheapdomains.com. R-I-C-K-S, Rick's Cheap, C-H-E-A-P, domains, D-O-M-A-I-N-S.com. It's the cheapest place to get URLs on the internet. It's my private label. It's $9.95. Yes, it's a division of a bigger outfit. So there's always a 24-hour 800 number, but we don't raise the price. That we keep it as cheap as we possibly can for authors. I have, thousands. I just spoke to them. Thousands of authors who've gone there and registered their name, misspellings of their name. So let's just say that your name is Rick Smith, and you try to go in and get your name, and it's gone because there's another Rick Smith that has that. Who are you? You are the original ricksmith.com, the one and only ricksmith.com, ricksmithauthor.com, ricksmithspeaker.com, my Rick Smith. So do that with your name and every variation so that no matter what, you can get your URL for $9.95. Number two is get the URL for the title of your book. I gave you the hint. Your title should be 1 to 5 words. So I have a book called Where's Your Wow? We were in McGraw-Hill's offices. We went to rickscheapdomains.com. We looked for a title that had wow on it, and we were able to get Where's Your Wow? It's like, bingo, that's it. We got it. But also put book afterwards. So I have Where's Your Wow book.com. And if it's a novel, then you want to put movie also, because we hope that your book would be made into a movie as well. So one of our attendees just got a huge contract with one of the biggest literary agents and movie producers in Hollywood. And just because he showed up and kept on going, he came to Author 101 last October. Now he just got a big agent. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going back, is do a Google search, go to your website, and on your website, I want to see streaming video. I want to hear streaming audio, and see everything I can about you. And we will often make a decision. We can tell how big your platform is just by going there and then seeing, how many people follow you. We can find out in 5 minutes how many people follow you on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, and see what kind of following you have. But I want to see if you're a speaker, that you're out there. And again, what are you going to do to promote the book and keep building your platform? That's the name of the game. I'll let you talk for a minute.
Well, I don't even have to be here. This is awesome. You're like the best ever. No, so this is exciting. Yeah. So if you didn't get the website, peeps, it's author101.com. Get there, get that that discount for $197 for you and a buddy to go and get in the energy, get meeting the other people who are doing this. Get a support group, because you're not alone. You're going to meet all these other people who are also wanting to get their message out there. So let's get there and check out Rick and all of his peeps over there. Now let's get into some tips on becoming an author. You already gave us a whole bunch of things. I hope people are taking notes. And but I want to get into, you said something earlier that I thought was very interesting. When you're talking about going to Author 101 and being inspired about what to write about, I find a lot of times people don't even know that what they have to share, it's so natural to them. They don't know how important it is to get it out and how it could be a book.
Yeah, I have a lot of books out. It's funny. I've handled authors since 1976, and my first book came out in 2000. And it's like, I always wanted to have a book. I didn't know what to do it on. And so I asked myself, what can I write on? What do I know about? And, it turns out I knew a lot about marketing. So that's what I've been doing. So my first book was Guerrilla Marketing for Writers. So what you need to do is figure out, number one, what's your passion? I mean, again, are you a trainer? Are you a speaker? Are you a lawyer, a doctor? What is it that you teach people every day? What is it that, let's say you were to retire tomorrow, but you wanted to do something for the rest of your life, teaching folks. That's what your book should be about. Usually, again, it's somehow, how are you going to help the world? What do you want your kids to remember you when you're gone? And for nonfiction, it's coming up with a hook that what keeps people up in the middle of the night, and how can you solve that problem? So for a lot of folks, it's 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds overweight. If you can help them with that, there's a book. There's a million diet books, but we don't have yours. It's I'm not fit, and I'm flabby, etc. Well, how can you teach people how to get more fit so they can live longer? How about I have high blood pressure? I have diabetes. If you can help with any health issue, that's great. Let's go into the other area. How about relationships? I can't find a husband. Well, guess what? There are a few sites out there that help people, Match.com, etc. But that's, a $1 billion industry. You may be able to help people find the love of their life. You may be able to help people raise their kids, sibling rivalry. So anything having to do with relationships, get along with your friends, get along with people at work, etc. Let's go to another area, money. A lot of you are experts. You're lawyers, you're stockbrokers, you're insurance brokers. You are experts in something having to do with money. Most of our folks in that area write a book just because as a lead generator. Your book really is just your business card. And, it's the 15 steps to, make $500 more a week by every week by next month. Keep it simple. But everybody needs more money. There's no amount of money that people can't outspend. So everybody needs to make more. Everybody needs life insurance and health insurance. They got to figure out, Obamacare and all this stuff that's going on. How do you build your business? You may be an expert in business. Look at Kevin Harrington and what he does. On Shark Tank. That's all finding a business, getting your invention, green lighted, but how do we, make more money in our business and get more customers? I've worked with hundreds of customer service experts over the years, from the famous to the infamous, and with all trying to help us with our business. So we just mentioned several areas: health, diet, relationships, money. You probably are an expert in something in that area, or a subset of that area. Maybe you have a success story. I mean, I had doctors many years ago, Rachel and Richard Heller, who had the carbohydrate addict diet. And, great people. She was about 350 pounds. And then when I did publicity with her, she was down to about 150 pounds. So you lose 200 pounds. We put her on TV, and she had her pants, which were like, so huge, and you could fit 3 of her in there. That picture is worth everything, and our tagline was, "Who the hell are the Hellards?" Which
did you come up with that?
I did. That was mine. We sold tons and tons of books. But diet always works. But again, what is your story? That's the thing that I was broke, and now I'm rich. I was broke, and then I was rich, and then I was broke again, and now I'm rich again, or I'm still broken, trying to get the hell out of it. But what is it that you can do that someone else can't? That you can teach us, and what's your personal story, and what are your personal expertise that other folks don't have? Now, don't tell me that no one has ever written a book on this subject, because there's a reason for that. There's hundreds or thousands of books like yours that have come out in the past. John Gray, we did Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Now, he's a psychologist. He actually got divorced a ton of times, and really was not the best at relationships. He was married to Barbara DeAngelis, who's a friend of ours. But he came up with something that hit home, and said it, in a different way. And that book took off, and he actually had a whole brand, Mars Venus, just based on that one thought where he changed it around. So, there's all types of diet and health and relationship and money books, etc. I handled a guy named Charles Gibbons, who wrote a money book, and I had him on Oprah and Donahue, and had him in 30 cities all across the country. We sold 3 million books, Wealth Without Risk. And for every one Charles Gibbons, there were 100 money guys who had financial planning books, who said, "Why did this guy make it and I didn't?" And he was a scam. He doesn't know as much as I do. It's like, well, did you invest in publicity and marketing and go to 30, 50, 100 cities a year doing seminars? No. Well, that's why you didn't make it. So it's what you do to promote yourself and have a slightly different twist on the same subjects that we just talked about. So that's what you're going to think about and find out when you get to Author 101, or start thinking about now.
Yeah, what I like about what I learned at Author 101 is you don't want to just go write a book, because the way you write it and the way you want it, and all of that needs to be considered as you're writing it, or at least it'll help with the writing of it. Yes?
Absolutely. You know what? Jack Canfield says, and I've worked with Mark and Jack since 1993. I did their first book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, after they got turned down by 144 publishers, and I've done all their books after that. But Jack, who I adore, he actually says that your intention goes into the pages as you're writing it or talking your books, and I believe that. And he sold hundreds of millions of books. I think it's 150 million, not books. So it's like, if it's good for him, it's good for me. So it's if you go into it just wanting to make money, then you're not going to be successful. If you go into it because you want to help people, and change people's lives and do something that makes a difference in this world, then it makes a difference. I'm a publisher at Morgan James Publisher. I'm the publisher. We publish about 150 books a year. Not everyone has to have an enormous platform. You don't have to have 100,000 people who know about you. You just need to want to give back and help and learn about your platform. But with our publishing company, we give a portion of every book that we publish to Habitat for Humanity. And we build houses in Virginia. And after we build a house for folks, we then give them a library of books. So after we put a roof over their head, we want to fill their head with knowledge as well. So we're looking for folks that give back and want to change the world and do great things. And I think if you go into it with the right intention, Author 101 University, we actually even have built a whole village in Kenya. So we're always giving back and helping, and that you'll find that you're going to meet people just like that, and we attract those types of folks to Author 101 and also to our publishing program. If you're doing it just for the money, then it's not going to work. If you're doing it to make a difference, then the money will follow. But think about, again, how you want to help and give back and how you can teach the world, and then we'll teach you how to make money doing that as well. And it doesn't have to be a big book. The Millionaire Messenger with Brendan Burchard was 167 pages long. That's it. And he wrote it in 3 weeks. We sold it for $21.95, a little book, but it was chock full of nuts. I mean, it had great stuff in there, and that's what people cared about. But we'll teach you exactly, actually I already did, but we'll teach you even more how to write the book, get a ghostwriter. And again, $99. None of this stuff is expensive. For Dragon Speak, just put it in your computer. I'm working on a book with Gary Goldstein, and we're just taping his book. Gary Goldstein, you'll meet. He's one of the greatest people in the universe. I love this guy. He is a Hollywood guy, but he does lots of other stuff. But he's the producer of Pretty Woman. Okay. How do you like that? So you've heard of that movie, right? And amazing story how that thing got produced. And also several other movies, the Mothman Chronicles. And I spent, days and days with him over the years. And I said, look, Gary, there's a book here. This is great. And we're just recording his book. I'm just interviewing him so we can get it out. Because people want to hear your life story and hear how you have made a difference in other people's lives. So very, very cool.
So you're not much of a writer, you say, but what about a reader? Do you like reading?
This is crazy. I'm a crappy reader, but I'll tell you why. I love reading if I could. I read short books that are life-changing, but I handled a guy named John Rady many years ago who wrote a book called Driven to Distraction. He was the #1 expert in the world on ADD. Okay. He and his partner, Ned Hallowell. And then he came back a year later and we were doing his second book. And he said, Rick, you can't read my book. He says, you are the classic adult ADD. You can't read crap. It's like, wow. It's like, I should have had a VA. Why didn't anybody ever tell me that? And it all became clear. It's like, I can read newspaper stories, I could read magazines, but I can't read long books because I have the attention span of a snail. You can tell, the way I talk is like the way I write my books. It's like I'm all over the place. I'm a high functioning ADD, but
that makes you a good publisher though too, because you can see right away what's working, what's not working.
Exactly. I mean, we have readers who actually read your whole book, but I make a decision. I make a decision very quickly. Number one, based on your title, your subtitle, your proposal, and 90% of whether I take you on as an author is whether I dig you as a person. And I like your energy and what you're doing. And the reason is this. If your book needs work, no problem. We have 1 million writers that can edit your book and redo it and help you rewrite the book. But if you are, and this is a well-known publishing phrase, if you're a banana head, you will always be a banana head. And I can't change that. And I've had people had great books, and we interviewed them, and it's like, this guy's a schmuck. It's like, I do not want to deal with him, because like, I don't care how much money he has. I don't care how good his book is. There was one guy, and I just couldn't stand him. It's like, you know what? Go on to somewhere else, and you will be successful, but not with me. Just because I didn't want to have that energy in around.
I didn't know that was a technical term, the banana head. No,
well, that's my technical term. So as long as you're not a banana head, that's okay. It's like, because we can change your book and make it better. But then once I like you and then get into our publishing board, we have a whole board, publishing board that reads your book, checks it out, and then makes suggestions. And usually, you need some sort of editor that can help just, clean it up a little bit. I mean, most people are not born as great writers. So, and that's why we have editors that can clean it up and just make it better. But it's your intent.
It's having a team. It's having a team.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this whole team approach is a lot different than the idea of self-publishing something. Yes?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment. Just the different ways of getting published. There are kind of three ways. Number one, the old way was traditional publishing, Simon Schuster, HarperCollins, etc. What you need for that is, number one, the book proposal. No matter what, you need a book proposal. That's the business plan for your book. So Terry Whalen, by the way, is one of our editors. He has a book on book proposals. Our book, Author 101, teaches you. bpwiz.biz, free, can help you do a book proposal. We'll teach you about book proposal, but no matter what, you need the book proposal. The book proposal then helps you get a literary agent, which is almost impossible to do if you don't know people in the industry. It's a closed industry. We have 10, 20 literary agents that will meet you, but I work with about 100 literary agents. But again, if you just send a query letter, the odds of you getting to a book proposal are very, very slim. But once your literary agent takes you on, like, so one of my friends just got signed by a big literary agent in Hollywood, is going to take it to not only for the books, but to movies as well. The literary agent brings it to the publisher, and they have close relationships with many editors at many different houses. And they usually go back to their buddies that they just bring stuff all the time and say, hey, this guy's really great. And the editor will then bring it to their pub board, and the pub board will decide whether they want to take you or not. They'll make you usually a very lousy offer of an advance. The average advance is $1,500 or less for an unknown author. In some cases, they'll make you buy back 5,000 books at could be 40 off a list. So it could be, a hardcover book, you may have to pay, $20 a book. And I have contracts where people paid 60, 70, 80,000 buying back their books so that a big publisher would take them on. That way, the publisher doesn't have risk. Do not do that. Okay, it is not worth it. But then they'll get the book out. This is traditional publishing. HarperCollins signs you. They take all your rights, and they try to get everything, but they'll take all your intellectual property rights. They'll do everything for you. You generally have basically no say in almost anything, including the cover, the design, the title, etc. They'll get the book out 1.5 to 2 years later, at which point you probably won't remember what you wrote in the book. Then you have to do all the publicity. You have to do all the marketing. If the book doesn't do well, they'll come back from the bookstores in about 3 months, and they will offer you to buy back the books. Or if you don't want them, they'll destroy them because they don't want to keep it in a warehouse. How does that sound?
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, really. So people are saying, I don't want to do that anymore. And what I'm telling folks is, unless they're going to pay you a ton of money, do not do that. So back to Brendan for a moment. We published his book, became #1 New York Times bestseller. Then Simon & Schuster came back to him and said, we'd like to get this book and your next book, and we'd like to give you $2 million for those 2 books. At which point Brendan said, sold to the lady in the red dress. It's like, fine, I accept, I'll take your $2 million. So if they're going to give you a lot of money, then it's okay to give them your rights. But you can still always get out of it. And then they did, his next book. And then he told Simon & Schuster to shove it after that because they weren't doing what he wanted. And he said, you know what? I want my rights back. Here's a whole bunch of money. I don't need your money anymore. And I'll do it somewhere else. All right. So that's traditional publishing. Again, don't go there unless they're giving a lot of money because you give up almost everything.
Okay.
Let's go to the other side, which is self-publishing, which is now it's print on demand is the way most people self-publish. There are hundreds of print on demand, we call POD publishers out there. Most of them suck big time, so you got to do your research. Author Solutions owns about 15 of them, iUniverse, Author House, Ex Libris, etc. They're pretty good, but just don't buy all the other crap that they try to sell you. The one that I recommend if you're going to go with a POD house is CreateSpace. They're owned by Amazon. It'll cost you $500 or $1,000. But again, the average author ends up spending $8,000 publishing POD. And the reason is they buy all this junk that they don't need. So if you want to go POD, just get the basics and don't buy anything else. Don't get their marketing, any of their other stuff, because that's how they're making their money is they're upselling all this crap you don't need.
Okay.
But if you have a poetry book, that's the way to go. Or if you have a recipe book of your grandmother's recipes, that's the way to go. The problem with POD is, the good news is you keep your intellectual property rights. They will get the book out in about 3 months. The bad news is, on average, the typical POD book sells about 100 books in its lifetime. So most people just don't sell a lot of books. If you sell 5,000, 2,000 books, great. Then you can show that you've built it up and go to a major publisher. And the last thing about POD to understand is your book will never get in a bookstore. I don't care what they tell you. It's not returnable, and bookstores don't take print-on-demand books. So again, you probably have heard of Lulu and CreateSpace and iUniverse and all those. Check them all out. Don't buy all their other crap. Okay. The third way is what we call hybrid publishing. That's what we are. And it's sort of the best of both worlds, where you keep your intellectual property rights. We can get a book out within 10 weeks after you give us your final book. Generally, we try to publish it about 10 months later to get into bookstores, but we have full bookstore distribution. We have reps who sell into, we have 41 reps that sell into every bookstore in America, and we also get into Australia and England, etc. You keep your rights, but we do it as a team approach where we don't do the publicity for you, but we teach you how to do publicity. We give you the tools how to do publicity. Some of you, if you have a budget, you can hire a PR firm. We also make recommendations so that you're not getting screwed. I ran the biggest PR firm in America. Wait, here is my PR buddy. He does all my PR, and we can teach him exactly what to do for you. Say hello. Hello. This is Cooper. Always have a dog with you on every interview. By the way, on radio, I'm sorry you're not seeing this, but I just brought up my little, yeah. He just got clipped today, so he looks much more handsome. Now, here's an interesting point, by the way. This is Cooper. I have another one named Cody, and they're Havanese. Do your research. This is an important point, okay? Is that if you are calling me, it's like when people came to do an interview, and I've hired hundreds of people over 35 years. I want to know that you've actually read my bio and gone to my website and checked this out. So at the bottom of every bio on every site I have, is the last line about my kids and my wife, blah, blah, blah. And I have 2 Havanese puppies, Cody and Cooper. If you don't know that I have 2 puppies named Cody and Cooper, you haven't done your homework. It's like, you know what? You're gone. You're history. So do your homework about the literary agents you're going to meet, about the editors you're going to meet, about the speakers. If you come and you want to meet Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, do your homework and find out, what his first big product was, so that when you talk to him, he knows that you have actually, checked him out and know all about him. And that will set you apart from all the other folks out there. So back to, by the way, our publishing company is called Morgan James Publishing, morganjamespublishing.com. It's a little bit of the best of both worlds. It's called hybrid publishing. You keep your rights, and then if a major publisher wants to give you $2 million, you can get your rights back. You can get your book back and republish it, but you keep most of the power on cover, on interior, on when we want to bring out the book. It's done as a team approach, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. So we talk about that, by the way. MorganJamesPublishing.com is a page called Compare page right at the top, which explains all 3 different publishing models and the pros and the cons of each. But you'll meet all different types of publishers, POD. We have the agents who will get you to the major houses. And again, if you get a big agent and they can sell you the big house and negotiate the contract, go for it, as long as you got a good contract and they give you enough money to make it worth your time. And how much money is enough for every one of you is different. For Brendan, it was $2 million. For you, it may be $5,000, and it can be life-changing. So whatever it is they give you, check it out.
People think that there's a lot of money in selling books and that you make a lot of money that way. But like you said at the beginning of this time together, it's not just the money that you make from the book, which most people don't make a lot of money from the book itself. It's what you do with the book. The credibility that the book gives you can increase how much you get paid for. I like to think of a book as saying all the things that I have to say a million times over and over. I can now say, read this, take a look at this, right? So I can actually increase my worth when I'm in person with someone or when I'm speaking somewhere. So there's so much value to having a book.
Well, also in terms of publicity, I mean, again, part of what we teach you is how to get on radio, how to get on TV, how to get the newspapers to want you. And having a book will set you apart. That's the whole point. If you don't have a book, the media thinks that you're just a shill selling something, which is frankly what you are. But if you're an author, then they think that you are an expert and the number one authority, because you are. You wrote the book on the subject. So it's like, man, I had been doing publicity for 20 years or so, even longer. And when my first book came out called Guerrilla Marketing for Writers, then radio shows all of a sudden wanted me on to talk about publicity, and TV shows and the New York Times and et cetera. And by the way, here's a really cheap, and I'm going to give you 2 sites. All of this is at rickfrishman.com, but here, cheap, all right? And Guerrilla Publicity, my book is How to Do Publicity for Little or No Money. So I have a service. It's called We have
30 seconds. We have 30 seconds.
ricksprleads.com and rickspressreleasesender.com. It's all there at rickfrishman.com. Don't worry about it. But these are really cheap, and I've gotten the New York Times, Oprah, everywhere just by those sites. So author101.com, October 20, 21, 22. You can meet Mel. That's worth $500,000 just to meet her. But here it's $80. What is it? It's $179 for 2 people. We'll see you there.
$197. Thank you so much, Rick. Thanks to everybody for being with me today here on Kick Up Your Life. Make sure you check out author101.com, and let's continue the conversation over at mastermel.com. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel. Each week, learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer as she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel every week right here on Radio Star Worldwide.